Joy Behar, Candace Cameron Bure, Raven Simone, and Paula Ferris. Now, let's get things started.
The backlash continues against Donald Trump's comments about the Khan family, and political strategists on both parties say this could be the tipping point for his campaign, because he's not going after politicians now. He's going after grieving parents of a war hero. And people are saying that, you know, it's getting hard to watch him try to talk his way out of this, and there seem to be so many things he's throwing in the way. Yeah. So what do you think? Is this an issue?
Well, I think the problem is that he's gotten this far by behaving like this. I mean, he went after John McCain, who's a POW. He went after not only Ted Cruz, but remember, he went after Ted Cruz's wife, who didn't deserve that. So he's kind of had this pattern, and he's been successful. So he doesn't see the need to stop. I do think, however, when you deal with the military, people on both sides of the political aisle, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, these are the men and women that are dying for us. They are putting themselves on the front line and sacrificing their lives. I think if there is a moment for him where he's going to have a problem, this is going to be that moment.
Well, he didn't. It didn't work when he attacked John McCain.
But John McCain is a politician. You're not John McCain has political ties. People who hate Republicans might not be sympathetic.
He attacked a
and that didn't go over. That didn't go over.
How about the
handicap
guy when he made fun of that?
That was the media guy. You see, that's a politician.
Yeah, Jedediah is making a good point. That these are each groups that bring on their own criticism anyway. This is sacred ground on both sides of the aisle.
Because people's families, there are families all over this country whose children, whose husbands, whose wives are putting their lives on the line. And the difference is there are more of them out there whose children have died.
Yep.
Right. And if you're talking about sacrifice, you know, there is no greater sacrifice for this nation.
I don't think it's going to stick. I mean, I thought when he insulted McCain that would stick. I thought when he insulted the disabled reporter, I thought that would stick. I thought people would be offended by what he said about Ted Cruz's wife. That didn't work. I've got to tell you, I just don't see it happening. If you look at the rally that Mike Pence was at,
well, we're going to get to that.
People weren't supportive of the Khan family. Yeah. And I've heard many people say, well, the Khan family put themselves out there. They put themselves out into the political sphere because they spoke at the DNC, and they are fair game. And so I don't think among his supporters it's going to make any difference, and that's tragic. But I think that's true.
Though, because I think you're right. I think there's a segment of the population that's going to vote for Donald Trump, and it seems as though no matter what he says, for some reason, they have this hero worship of him. They think he's a savior. Nothing sticks. But other people are watching. The rest of the country is watching. There's a lot of independent voters who aren't thrilled with Hillary Clinton and aren't thrilled with Trump, but have been saying, well, you know what? I'll give Trump a shot. Then he says something like this. Guess what? Those independent voters have family members who are in the military.
That's right.
Say, now you've insulted my son, my daughter, my niece, my nephew.
Because it's different. As you said, you know, you talk about John McCain, say, yeah, that was a boneheady and stupid thing to say, and say, okay. But when you go to the real people, to real people who you say you care about,
who are grieving,
the people who you say are your backbone, and you poop on them like this, they're not. I don't think they're going to groove with it. But
and the sacrifices are about building buildings. I mean,
it's such a human moment. That wasn't even something that could be political. When you look at anyone, doesn't matter what they look like, and they say something about losing a child. It's the greatest loss, not just for this country or as a military person. Losing a child, they say, is the greatest pain you could ever experience. There's got to be a moment where all of it fades away, and you're like, oh my gosh, my heart goes out to you. The fact he didn't even have a little bit of that.
Not only doesn't he have empathy, he keeps doubling down and attacking the woman for not speaking. I mean, he's sabotaging. That's our job, to sabotage you, Donald. You're doing a great job of it, though. You take it away from us.
Well, as we started to say, a rally in Ohio yesterday, Trump warned voters that he's afraid the election is going to be rigged against him.
Oh, right.
He made a similar claim about the 2012 election being rigged against Mitt Romney. Odd he didn't mention it against Al Gore.
I mean, arguably,
we're going to talk about Rick. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe I'm old and I remember that far back.
Yeah. Well, but arguably, that's the only time that I think we can all point to an election. That was, I think, 2000, where the Bush versus Gore went all the way to the Supreme Court, and we had the hanging chads. Everybody remember that? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, woohoo, Bush wins.
That's right.
So I think that is the only time that we can really point to an election and say, okay, this election wasn't square. This election
may have been. He is going to say it's rigged because he knows I think he's going to lose now. His numbers are going.
Think that?
Yeah, I think he's going to lose. His numbers are down. Hillary, after the convention, her numbers, she got a really good bump. People realize that even though they think she lies, they know he lies too. So it's like, well, okay, which liar do you want? An incompetent liar or a competent liar?
This is like his...
Okay, but I think that his ego is more important than anything.
It's
It's
ego
more
insurance.
important than his kids. It's more important than his wife. It's more important than the country. And so he's going to say it's rigged because he knows he has to save face in November.
He has to be able to say, I told you so.
Right.
But you know what's interesting? He's talking about everything being rigged and the election is being rigged, but he's inviting Russia to hack into the DNC and to Hillary's emails. Shouldn't he be worried about hacking?
I don't know. I don't know. If there's going to be a hacking, I would like someone to hack so we know what's on his
Tax returns.
returns. Because, I mean, he demanded Barack Obama show his birth certificate.
Oh, yeah. And college transcripts and law school transcripts.
All kinds of stuff.
Let's have a document
Demanded all this stuff. Now, or show me when you served in the military, Donald. I want to see your paper. No, I know he did. But I want to see something. I want to see those tax returns. As an American citizen, if you're going to be my president, I want to know you're paying taxes and they're yanking them out of you like they're yanking them out of me.
Yeah.
Well, he keeps saying it's because he's being audited. Right. That's his rap right now. Because he's being audited, he can't show you. But everybody else has already said that is not an issue. Warren Buffett's being audited. He gives his tax return.
What's also interesting, though, he's hiding behind the fact that it's still legal. I mean, he doesn't have to, by law, turn over his tax returns. And so he's saying, I don't have to do
the
it.
debates by law either, you know. So watch
true.
him. Let's see him.
Well, he said it's on NFL night. My God.
He's going to stay on Watch Football and tweet about it.
Well, that's what he said. I mean, he was like,
yeah.
They put on NFL night because they like Hillary. It's like, no, no.
Republicans do this stuff, though, and I've criticized them heavily in the past. They do things like, oh, the system is rigged. This is similar to me when they say, well, the media is biased. Yes, the media is largely biased against Republicans.
I don't
Deal
believe
with
that.
it.
That's not true.
No, it's true. Come
That's
on. I mean,
not
the
true.
coverage
Only if you watch Fox
sometimes-
News every
No,
day.
that's not true.
Wait a second.
You think Hillary and Trump are going to come on?
You forget the $2 billion worth of free advertising they gave to Trump?
Wait, ladies, I'm going to hold you off because this we have to come back. We'll be right back in the White House.
Later, the latest on the NBA superstar caught in a sexting scandal. How it could be a real game changer for his career. Later, host of Fox News' The Five, Eric Bolling, hits the Hot Topics table to tell the ladies why he wants Trump in the White House. He has seen The View, right?
So, we just were having a conversation about whether the media is biased.
It is biased. I mean, I accept the premise that it's, my argument was, I accept the premise that it's biased. In 2014, there was a poll conducted, and they concluded, Politico ran a study on it, that 7% of reporters define themselves as Republican. I think if you look across the media, I think you have to say, okay, there is a bias. The media tends to, they go to journalism school, look at academia, the majority tend to tilt left. My response to that is, I don't care.
Why
if you
is
are
that, though? Is it because
prepared,
they're more educated?
because they come out of academia, and academia tilts left. It's all biased.
You mean the
college campuses?
That's so ludicrous.
I mean, only liberals go to college?
Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
so
but you don't think
ludicrous.
academia is biased? You don't think academia is biased in general?
I think it's very dangerous what you're saying, because what you're saying is that the media is biased in much what we see in terms of government influence, overt and I think covert censorship, what you see in North Korea and what you see in
I'm not
Burma.
saying it's from the
we don't see that. But that's a true definition of media bias, Jed, and that's what we see here. We have true journalists like a Barbara Walters, like Anderson Cooper, like Morley Safer, like Diane Sawyer, like Christiane Amanpour. I've worked with Christiane. I've worked with Anderson Cooper. They are true journalists, and they are not biased.
There are some.
And so this notion
There are some. I work with them all the
that the
time.
media is biased is just you're like throwing flames
Are you
out there.
saying
And that's
I want to hold on. I want to separate the two, because are you saying the media is biased because people have come out of school with a certain idea?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so
I'm not saying it comes from the government. I'm saying it
I
comes from
understand that, but that kind of puts a limit on free thought.
Right.
No,
I kind of feel like people come out of school and they make their decisions about who they're going to be. I don't think school tells them who to be. I don't think you went to school and they told you who to be.
Oh, they absolutely did.
Who did they tell you to be?
Absolutely did. I went to Columbia University. I went to undergrad, and I can tell you that those courses, when you walk into
choose
college,
to take the courses.
Right, but you know what? I came out. Look, can you come out and go against the system? Absolutely. I took classes where there were left-leaning professors, and I came out and said, I don't believe that.
Yes, that's my point.
Right, but many times
the story down the line. True journalists.
That's
the
true.
suggestion,
I'm
this blanket
agreeing with
suggestion,
you.
though, Jed, that you're making that the media is biased is dangerous and it's wrong.
Media bias exists. I'm not saying every journalist. I work with journalists all day long.
It does exist. I was just trying to understand, because if you say you come out of school and they've taught you and this is what you are, you're saying that free thought is out, and that's not the truth. And most of the folks that you've named, are real journalists whose political leanings you don't know.
You don't even know.
Yeah, you also have to remember.
You don't know. Listen, you don't know how Barbara Walters thinks.
No, that's
you don't know how.
To this
You don't know
day,
how.
you don't know if she's a Democrat.
You don't know how Anderson.
That's true.
You don't, and so I think it's important to say, you know, there may be newspapers that have more left stories or more right stories, but depending on where you live, you can find anything.
And depending on what you watch.
I agree with that the bias exists, but I also agree with how we got there might be more what you're saying. The thing is that you also have to remember the landscape of news has changed so much in the past, 15 years. Now we have 20 years, we have 24/7 news, and I think the problem there is when you look specifically at like cable networks, you have people that have to talk for 24/7. You're going to get personalities. It's no longer a newscast the family sits down with at night and has these old school journalists like Barbara Walters running the ruse. Now you have a lot of people coming out and in opinion
what we
shows,
do.
and that's what it,
But
that's why.
That's an opinion show
CNN.
that's different from a journalist.
But that's what she. Hold on,
CNN
Joy. Wait a minute,
seems to
Joy. Hold on, because what you're saying is
There's a difference between an opinion host and a
Yes,
journalist.
that's
so
what- but that's what we're all
not what Jet
saying.
said. Jet is
No, that
painting
is what
this.
I'm saying.
She's painting this.
No, I'm not.
All media
No, I'm
is
not.
biased.
But you
That's
know
not what I'm
what?
saying.
No, I think
What
she's
I'm
saying
saying
what
is that there
exists.
are. Look, my job is to be opinion commentator. I've worked at Fox for a long time. My job is to give you my opinion. What I'm saying is that under the field that's labeled objective journalism, there are far too many people in that sphere that I think lean left, and they show it. And that's not to say.
Here's the argument
I'm not going to
against
name
that.
names.
Let's
I'm not going to say that there aren't some that are amazing.
Let Joyce
Let's
speak.
take Anderson Cooper, for example. Anderson Cooper has come out as gay. Now, you would assume that he is pro-gay marriage, etc. When he does his job, that never enters into the conversation.
I happen to agree with
I watch CNN. They always make it an effort to show both sides, to the point where I'm screaming sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay? They seem to feel that they always must give both sides to the story. And that is called journalism.
Yep, agreed.
What you're describing is something completely different. You're talking about opinionated people who will come to the table with a leftist point of view and then inject it into the
I assure you,
conversation.
there are people watching this show at home right now that are screaming at their TVs saying that people who label themselves as objective journalists are not doing their job all the time.
We are not journalists.
We are not.
And so the point that I think we should make is that because of the 24/7 cycle, you have more opinion people talking. People who look like journalists.
Yep.
Who you kind of think are journalists, who maybe did a sports show, and that's why they're... But that's not a journalist. A journalist is Walter Cronkite,
right,
who you didn't know which side he stood on. And I find that there are far fewer
we need
of
more
them,
of those.
and there are more people doing what we do than there are anything else that's
I would like to see more of what you're describing, though. I would like to see those old school people who came out and you legitimately couldn't, but more of them.
Just
I want them to be in the majority when you're watching news.
We'll be right back.
Coming up, the reality star who's getting real by posting her cosmetic procedures online. Is it a PSA or TMI? It is your last chance to view your deal. We partnered with vendors for up to 74% off summer bling and beauty, plus free shipping. So get to viewyourdeal.com now.
You know, we try to talk about the things that people find important, and this is no different. JoJo chose her man last night on the season finale of The Bachelorette, with Jordan Rogers proposing in a dramatic style on the beach.
Oh, boy.
Do settings like this give people unrealistic expectations about what romance should be?
I think, quoting a philosopher, Keanu Reeves from Speed, relationships based on intense experiences never work.
Oh my God, he's
yeah,
so
he did
deep.
say that. He said that.
They what? Say it again?
Relationships based on intense experiences never work, and that intense experiences kind of captures a show like The Bachelor or
Especially
Bachelorette,
in
or a speeding bus, one or the other.
You know, a train wreck.
Yes.
Look, I do think that marriage is an intense experience, and this is what they're supposed to be training to do. But I would prefer to see this type of show like on a deserted island with just one person, and have people throwing flamethrowers at you, have kids pulling at you, have you scavenging for food, because that's what marriage is like, right? Like what they're doing is not. what marriage is like.
But remember, this is not marriage. They haven't gotten married yet. This is the dating experience, which is what you just related.
They're finding the perfect partner for marriage.
But but you have to have more than one person if you're looking for someone.
Yeah.
So you have to have more than one person.
She's got 25?
I have never watched it, sorry.
I never saw this show.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Joy, you would have. I would watch your live tweets during that like nobody's business.
I mean, there are like 25 men vying for her affection, and she gets to whittle it down.
Yeah.
So how come nobody says she's a hoe?
Because they do.
Because, you know, on one hand, we tell young women, you know, don't have all these experiences with these different guys and look for the... So here she is, and here he is, because there's The Bachelor as well.
Yeah.
But with men, for some reason, it seems to be more acceptable. So why are we perpetuating this idea that it's not a good idea, but then it is a good idea if it makes money?
But wait a minute, I haven't watched the show. Does she sleep with all 25 of them?
She only has the fantasy suite with 3 in her defense.
So she sleeps with 3 of them?
Well, she doesn't have to.
That's more than I've had my whole life.
Yeah, okay.
We don't know.
Wow.
We don't know, right?
Yeah, no cameras are in there.
That's right, and she's a natural redhead. Of course we know.
No, we don't know. Wow. Allegedly, she could, but I think there has been some backlash. I mean, people do feel that, you know, making out with the 25 men or the 20 men is
but they don't pick on the
inappropriate.
Bachelor on that.
No, they don't.
They let
That's
him go
a
to any fantasy suite he wants.
But wasn't there backlash, though, with The Bachelor when he slept with 2 women at once?
Well, he does, but they are
same
harder
time,
on The Bachelorette because they say, and recently there was an article about it, that when The Bachelorette goes into these fantasy suites, we pick on her more than we pick on The Bachelor for doing what boys will do.
But then I see the opposite side, too, where some women I see defending her as it being empowering to women. Like, this woman is in this position of power, like, typically you see men where they have a choice of power, actually.
But we don't know that about
we don't know
JoJo.
what position she's in, honestly.
Yeah, but she has the choice.
We don't know if JoJo was in any position. We don't know.
Well, you know, you do see things. You do see things, and it is on this network, so you're not going to see a whole lot. But I just wonder, you know, if we're saying to women, is this the way to empower yourself? Is
I don't
this
like
what,
it.
You know, and I wonder, because a lot, we send so many mixed messages to young women. I wondered, and that's why I asked the question, because I actually haven't watched the show. I don't know very much.
Your question was, is this hoish?
Well, no, because I believe that you as a woman have the ability to have as many relationships as you should, as you want to.
Not in the same day.
Why not? Why not? What's wrong with it? You know what? We'll pose this question when we come back. We'll be right back.
Next, host of Fox News' The Five, Eric Bolling, hits the Hot Topics table to reveal why he wants Trump in the White House.
The View probably figure out where a lot of us stand on a lot of different issues, and particularly on Donald Trump. But we're joined now by a man who thinks Donald Trump should be our next president. Here to tell us why, please welcome Fox News host and author of Wake Up America, Eric Bolling.
I am so excited to be here. This is amazing.
Before we do this, I hear you're a fan.
You know, I watched The Bachelorette last night, and in the spirit of The Bachelorette, I wanted to bring you some
Will this turn me into a Republican?
No.
Thank you, thank you.
No, I can't. What am I going to do with it?
Thanks, sir.
Leave it right there.
All right, I'll leave it.
Everyone gets a rose.
Very
So you watched
I did. My wife made me watch The Bachelorette.
Oh, yeah?
You did?
Well, did you think it was hoish behavior?
Do you think it's hoish behavior on either side?
I think it's people who love being on TV. They like the media spotlight. They have a lot of fun with it. And I also think Jordan picked JoJo this time. What do you think of that?
Oh.
She didn't pick him. He picked her.
Do you think there's a double standard, though, the way they look at The Bachelorette versus The Bachelor in terms of how they criticize, you know, these suites that they go into at the end and all that? Fantasy
Yeah, I don't
suites.
like. That's the part I really don't like. I like to see the interaction. I like to see how they date. They go out. They kind of talk to each other. I don't like that all. Is she sleeping with him?
No, it's the sleazy part, but that's what people like to say.
I guess.
Well,
Anyway.
to change the subject a little bit.
A little hard turn.
You know, I'm trying to do it the right way. You are a Trump supporter. You've been very vocal about that. Why is he your choice for president?
Well, first of all, right now he's my choice because I think he'll be a better president than Hillary Clinton. We're down to two choices.
Right.
Exactly.
But why?
Here's why.
Yeah.
So right now the Supreme Court is It's conservative, liberal right now, 4-4. Hillary Clinton has said she will put a liberal on the Supreme Court, and a lot of things, I think, going forward, I wrote the book about, the book is a conservative roadmap, bringing the country back to the center because we're being dragged so far left. I think the Supreme Court is immensely important going forward, and I think we need a Republican to stack the Supreme Court.
Why do you believe him, though? He was a Democrat. He was pro-choice. Now he'll be pro-life. How do you know?
Because of the list, he put out a list. He put out a list of 11 people that he would choose from, and I believe that he would do that.
But he's a liar.
Well, so is he. You want to talk about liars? Hold on.
Well, he's a liar, too.
Politicians are liars. Hillary Clinton literally lied to Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday 2 days ago about Benghazi, about emails. I mean, she said she didn't.
Let's not bring up Benghazi unless you're willing to say that the 11 hours that the Republicans kept her there was not enough. Because I mean, what didn't you ask her?
There were 13 hours between the time the first two died, Chris Stevens and his assistant died.
Darling,
and
what didn't they ask her that you think that they missed? They sat with her for 11 hours. What didn't they ask?
Who did you tell to stand down and why? Because there was an opportunity to save 2 more
Didn't
Americans.
they ask her that? Didn't they ask her everything but what color her underarm hair is?
Yes. They did.
So let's put that away. Let's talk about what
But we still don't know who told them to stand down. There was access to military assets.
11 hours to get the information, but move on. Go ahead,
but I just want to say this to you. You know, I hear that argument all the time about Hillary Clinton and how Benghazi is her fault, but I think you have to agree that House Republicans refused the budget for the security at Benghazi.
No, she turned the money down.
No, that's not true.
They
Actually,
asked her. Chris Stevens asked her.
But what about Trump?
I want to ask you, Eric, because you're a business guy and you know, business expert, and Trump is a business guy. The pushback I get, stop laughing. No, wait, the pushback I get, though, is that he's not so great at business. People bring up his bankruptcies. What is your response to people who say if business is important to you, this is not your guy?
So I listened to Hillary Clinton on stage at the DNC saying Donald Trump has his ties made in Mexico. He has his suits made in China. He has his vodka made in wherever. The problem is the reason why he does that is because of our laws, because of our tax laws and our minimum wage laws. Of course, his job only as the executive of a corporation is to maximize profits. It's not to be a nice guy. It's not to help out people. It's not to be a philanthropist. It's to maximize profits. And the way you do that is you push manufacturing overseas where it's cheaper to manufacture. Unfortunately, hopefully he'd be smart enough to say, let's lower our corporate tax rate and bring manufacturing back.
But that's not going to happen because but what about the companies that stay in America? Don't they want to maximize their profits? How come they're more patriotic than he is?
Well, I don't think it's a patriotism. It's not a patriotism. Manufacturing is fleeing this country because of our laws, because of our corporate tax laws. We're the highest corporate tax rates in the free world. Also,
isn't it because it's cheap labor?
Yeah, it is cheap labor. Of course it is.
Yeah, you pay a kid 4 cents an hour. You're going to go over there.
Well, okay, but here's the other thing.
But you can't do that here.
Once these corporations, these international corporations, make money in different countries overseas, to bring that money back, they've already been taxed once in those countries. You got to tax them again 35%. The money's going to stay there. This is insane economic policy.
Can I ask you, how do you feel about the EPA?
I think the EPA serves no purpose.
Now, see, I think, I had several animals.
Environmental Protection Agency.
So I think to myself, I don't want to see a lot of sludge from people who are not.
I don't either.
You know, so should they? I mean, because you're talking about all the laws that people run away from. That's one of the laws they run away from. They also run away from, you know, you can't work a 7-year-old here. You can do that in Taiwan. You can't do it here. We have to have some protection.
Oh, what about that? I agree. I agree. You need some labor laws. Of course, you need labor laws. I'm just against the minimum wage, and I'm against the EPA because the massive amount of regulations that we're putting on farmers to bring water from here to water their crops over there, they have to go through several layers of permitting just to get that done. That puts prices.
But he doesn't even believe in climate change. Where is the water going to even come from for these farmers?
Are you talking about Trump?
Yeah. What about that? Don't you have children? Don't you worry about your children?
I have a 17-year-old that's about to go to college, and I heard your discussion about what goes on in liberal academia.
Is he going to Trump University?
No, he's going to the University of Colorado.
Eric, please.
He's going to the University of Colorado.
Really?
Donald Trump, what I really like about Donald Trump, what I've liked about Donald Trump since he came down the escalator with Melania in June of last year was he's different. He's not a typical politician, but that's a good thing.
It is not.
What have we had?
Not in his case. I'm different too, but I wouldn't dream of running. I'm not capable.
We've had 100 years of the same, what's going on in
I mean, would you come to me for heart surgery? I'm not a heart surgeon. Why should he leave the country?
That's an unfair analogy.
You know what?
That's an unfair analogy.
Hey, you guys, hold on.
You don't need political experience to run.
Hold on 1 second, because we want to come back to you and have the.
Are you enjoying this game back here?
We'll be right back.
day of Hot Topics. And anything goes when Magic Man Penn Jillette hits the table. And tomorrow, Whoopi's hanging with one of the coolest CEOs and her robot. This week on The View on ABC.
So we are back with Eric Bolling. We were just talking about, I was just saying, you know, when you put yourself in league with someone like Trump, who has made some really, you know, all Mexicans, he said, are murderers and rapists.
I'm not sure he said that, Whoopi. I think he said Mexico is sending us some rapists and murderers. I'm not sure
he said no. I believe they've put it in the newspaper quite a few times. It's kind of been shown. That's kind of what he said.
Well,
some are not.
But he said that after he got heat for saying it. But the fact that you said it, you know, the fact that you say, you know, to a grieving family, whose son died.
Was that a misstep?
So, yeah, I think so. I think so. The day after the Democrat convention, he went to the podium and made these comments. Even Donald Trump is very reactionary. He does that. And what happens is the news cycle goes to Donald Trump because he'll say something provocative. The problem is, at some point, you have to say, once in a while, it's okay to say, I made a mistake. And I think that was the time for him to say, I made a mistake.
And maybe he will do that. Maybe
Hillary Clinton could have done the same thing, though. I think she
could have said when out of control. He's not going to say I made a mistake.
She just said she needs to work on building the trust.
She said that Sean Smith's mother, Patricia Smith, lied also. So she basically said the same thing, and then she backtracked on that as well. Both of them should take a lesson and say, you know what? I can make a mistake. I'm human. But neither one seemed to want to do that.
Because I read your book, and I actually think you're welcome. I think it's fair to read your book if you're going to be on talking about your book. And I think you did a great job in terms of, you know, explaining your positions. But in one chapter you talked about pride and how Americans, it's almost a dirty word to be considered patriotic. But you also mentioned immigration, which is something that's important to me. I'm Latina. And you talk about unskilled foreign labor. And you say that unskilled foreign labor is a major threat to some of the most vulnerable American workers. But you're supporting Trump, and at Trump's Mar-a-Lago, he hires hundreds of foreign workers. And the U.S. Department of Labor confirmed between 2013 and fall 2014, he posted 250 seasonal jobs and only filled 4 of those jobs with American workers. So he's using unskilled foreign labor, which is against what you're against.
No, I'm against illegal unskilled foreign workers being used.
It doesn't say that here.
That's what we're talking.
Maybe
it's on
no. Let's be clear. There's a difference, and the line is drawn between legal and illegal. I think Donald Trump.
You talk about H-2 visas and temporary guest worker permits, and that's exactly what Donald Trump uses.
I'm in favor of. You know what I'm in favor of? I'm in favor of more immigration. I'm more in favor of more legal immigration, less illegal immigration.
That's not what you say here.
More
you say their investigation focused on H-2 visas, temporary guest worker permits. Companies are using federal H-2 program rules.
Well, when they're abused, I agree. Now, I don't know about Donald Trump what he used. I really don't. By the way, I'm not a spokesman for Donald Trump. I'm just reporting on what the political process. If he's abusing the H-2 visa or H-1 visas, I would say then that he would be wrong, and it would be hypocritical for him to be doing that. Listen, so there are things that I think he can be inconsistent with, and he needs to fix. But I will tell you again, Hillary Clinton, there was a lot of that going on. You want to talk about something that's more egregious than the H-1 or H-2 visa program? It's this pay-to-play that the Clinton Foundation has used. Bill Clinton, the president...
Wait.
Bill Clinton, the president, makes $500,000...
I want to get this in about your book, because we talk a lot. You know, we've hosted a lot together, and we talk a lot about the Republican Party having an issue with outreach. What do you want the takeaway to be for people when they read this? Can independent voters look at this book, read it, and walk away feeling perhaps differently, more positively about conservatism, about the direction of the country? What do you want them to get out of this?
So the book is dedicated to Barack Obama because I was concerned that he was bringing true story, dedication, because I felt it was the time to, my only book, my first book, the country was being pulled so far left. President Obama famously said we want to fundamentally change the United States of America, and we elected him anyway for some reason. And he's done that for the past 8 years.
Because he's brilliant.
Well, there are things. I don't think he's brilliant. I don't think what he's done for the middle class, I don't think he's done anything. Wages have been stagnant for 8 years.
Can't you talk to the Bush man about that? Because he didn't do much for the middle class either.
Unemployment is down because people are leaving the workforce. If you put those people back in, unemployment
you guys always say that when it doesn't go in your favor. When it's in your favor, suddenly they're not leaving the workforce.
So I dedicated the book to Obama, and then I wrote the first chapter on the first term of Hillary Clinton, and it's kind of a dire, apocalyptic, kind of Walking Dead scenario where things are blowing up everywhere.
Don't be mad at me, but you see these guys with the things?
That's such a good time.
That's why I had to not get Jedediah in. Thank you to Eric. But, well, you'll come back, right? You'll come back. Members of the audience. So just so you know, everybody's getting a copy of the book. We'll be right back. Sorry.
Happy 20th anniversary. Wow.
Congratulations, 20.
The big 2-0.
2-0.
Happy 20th.
No.
20.
Big 2-0. 20.
I lost my virginity when I was 20.
Happy 2-0.
For real? And you still hot? Happy 20th.
Happy big 2-0, The View.
The View Season 20. The party starts September 6th on ABC. Tomorrow, Whoopi's getting a glimpse into the future with Sirius Satellite Radio founder Martine Rothblatt and her robot. Plus, game-changing diet guru Robin Euclid on why the secret to your perfect bod is to go with your gut.
Welcome back. My goodness. So there was something I wanted to ask you about because I know you're trying to travel.
I am.
Are you concerned about the Zika virus?
I'm very concerned. I was planning a trip to Miami, and then I found out, Zika's in Miami, and then I was planning to go to Puerto Rico, and then I found out it was there. Yeah. So I'm concerned, and I think everyone at home is also looking and saying, where can I go? And you have to keep up on the news because now they're sexually transmitted. I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
So we'll try to get you some more information in the upcoming days. But until we see you again, we want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon.